And we're back with Dr. Joseph Christiano. We've got the computer here if you want to get your question live at LC.com. And okay, we want to move on to the Dump the Junk for Parents. What is this book all about?
Well, you know, in 2004, I went out to California. I was asked to put in an after-school program for at-risk and obese children, junior, senior high school kids. So I went out there and I kind of looked at the campus, and I saw what took place at lunchtime. And unfortunately, the cafeteria was filled with maybe 200-300 kids. The remaining 3,000 kids were either going to the vending machines or vendors that are on the campus, getting their slice of pizza or a soda or a Snickers bar for lunch. And the others were either having nothing or going down to a fast food store. So my heart was broke for them, and I thought to myself, how am I going to fix this? It's a huge problem. Because we see a correlation between poor health and poor grades. And unfortunately, our schools across America, they don't address second education from a larger perspective. Usually address it, and this is academics, from just an academic approach. They don't factor in health, the wellness of the kids. And so consequently, those programs are kind of nixed. The budgets don't cover those types of programs. I called my wife and I said, you know, I'm going to have to stay out here. We're going to have to figure this out. They tried a fundraising program. It didn't work. But yet I said, let's figure it out because I got to help these kids. Long story short, I had 25 children that volunteered. Now, these are junior, senior high school kids that volunteered for the program, and it was going to be for an entire semester. So I moved out to California. I was their trainer 5 days a week. I met them at 2 o'clock after school. And then I had a curriculum written up for them particularly, and we had classroom time where I would teach them all about nutrition, exercise, the benefits of exercise, but also I taught them the principles of setting boundaries and self-control. Now in that community I kept it pretty much generic, but the principles were there, and I told these kids, you got to understand one thing, that you have value and worth. Whether you're getting that from home or not, you do have that, and you need to set that line in the sand to protect you from abusers. So learn to set principles because you have something to protect. And the more you understand how much value and worth you have, the higher your standards are, and you'll set that line. And self-control, that other principle, you need to learn to do that so that you protect yourself against yourself from making decisions without thinking. Is this good for me? Is this poisonous? And when your friends want to drink, sex, the whole 9 yards, think first. Is this going to help me? So we went through the entire program. From a physical standpoint, they did extremely well. They lost body fat, their BMI dropped, and they had great energy. But what I was looking for more than that, because I knew that was going to work, but if they had a healthy body, they have a healthier mind, and that would correlate to better studies and better grades. And their GPAs went up 1%, which means like 2 grades in 1 semester. Now, these were the failing kids. These were abused kids. They were self-mutilated because of sexual abuse and all this stuff. And this is the product that I had at the end of their school life, junior, senior high school kids. At the end of the program, I asked them, out of all that we've done, what really stood out to you, and particularly about the section on attitude? Every one of them raised their hand. And this was setting boundaries and self-control, which blew my mind because I really thought they wouldn't get that because it's, you know, I don't want to be restricted. But they understood that setting boundaries set them free, and self-control protected them and set them free. One girl says, I told my boyfriend I'm not going to have sex. He says, if I can't have sex, I'm dumping you. She goes, leave. Okay, so she saw value in herself. Others were saying, listen, Mom, we got to clean the pantry out. We got to put in healthier foods. And everything was changing, and their attitudes went from failure to being or lacking confidence and low self-esteem to being very assertive and confident and asking me about their future. Could I get into the fitness business? I'm going to go on to college. I'm going to go to the military. Because when I met them, they were all depressed. They were failing kids. When I first started with them, the very first day, I went around and shook hands, introduced myself, and asked them, what did you have to eat today? Now, mind you, this is 2 in the afternoon. And none of them looked at me, eye to eye. They're all looking down. I said, wait a minute, up here, up here. And once we connected here, then, well, I had pizza. I go, what else? Nothing. Next person, what'd you have? Well, I didn't have anything. Yet? No. Well, the kids are failing in school. The teachers are writing them off because they won't participate in the class. Problem is, they're experiencing low blood sugar on the way to hypoglycemia, on the way to diabetes. okay, because of poor nutrition. Once they started eating regularly and making healthier choices, they started participating in the classroom. Next thing you know, I have the teachers writing, you know, the reports on how well they were participating. They were really becoming changed students. And at the end, the school district wrote the report and study on it, so it's classified. So I decided to get into writing a K through 4 curriculum, because my passion is this: if I'm going to work with the seniors, I'm grabbing them after a school life. But if I can start with the young ones, the kindergarten, first, second, third, and start imparting into their lives good nutrition, you know, basics, exercise, and attitude, by the time they become junior and senior high school kids, they will not be the byproduct that I saw and met out in California.
Yeah.
And so from there, I decided, let's start off with a book to parents, because the key to fixing the childhood obesity in America isn't whipping the kids. It's a team effort. It's going to be community effort. All the teachers feel like mom and dad drop the kids off and you raise my children, you teach them. And the parents are there, or the school teachers are there to teach them on their academics and so forth. So I figured, let's reel in the parents, moms, dads, caretakers, whoever it is, sponsors. You're raising these kids. You need to learn to lead by example. These kids will follow you. In fact, they'll be proud of you, but you need to get on track. So the book is really more motivational to get them on track, to let them identify the key role they play. Now, I know parents know this, but when I'm working with kids and when I'm working with parents, you know, when I see the child's obese, I see the parents are obese, okay?
Yeah.
And isn't just obesity.
Yeah, you don't have really fit parents.
Yeah, so there's so they're following the parents, you know? Now, if mom and dad are willing to turn it around, I don't mean to be a marathon runner or anything like this, but simple practices. Make this turn gradual, but long term, these kids are going to straighten out. In other words, they're going to have healthier kids that are going to make better decisions, and it's going to reflect in their school grades as well.